كشركاء
as partners.
بيعبر عن كل اللحظات اللي احنا مرينا بيها.
It talks about all of the moments that we've been through.
لحظاتنا في الخرطوم لما كنا بنصور، وسعادتنا احنا نصور حاجة عن الخرطوم.
Our moments in Khartoum while we were filming and all the moments afterwards.
ولحظاتنا برضو لحظات الحزن لما فقدنا كل حاجة واضطرينا نطلع من المدينة اللي احنا بنحبها.
And the moments, even the sad moments when we had to witness the war and we had to leave our city and we had to leave everything behind us.
استمتعتوا بيها.
I hope you enjoyed the film.
السلام عليكم، أنا اسمي أنس الحافظ. أنا سعيد.
My name is Anas Al-Hafiz. I'm Saeed.
مبسوط جدا انكم مع بعض الليله هنا وبنشارك قصه من السودان وحكايات من شخصيات عاديه normal people يعني.
We're happy to be here and to share with you moments from Sudan and share the stories of everyday people in Sudan.
الرحله بتاعت الفيلم زي ما ذكر الشباب انه كانت رحله طويله، وبعد الحرب اي حاجه وقفت وغرينا نحكي الحكايات دي لأنها بتمسنا كلنا كسودانيين، يعني ما بس عن الشخصيات الخمسة في الفيلم.
This was the journey of the film, and after the war, everything stopped. But the stories that we're telling are the stories of the individuals in the film, but it's also our story.
مشوقين أكتر نسمع من الناس والرياكشن بعد الفيلم، وبيدعمنا لنا كتير يعني.
We're eager to hear from everyone and hear the feedback because it means a lot to us. All right, I'm looking at you, Mr. Haile Garima, because we want to get your feedback first. Nah, this is your house, man. You're the teacher. So you wanted to say something.
Other questions first, please, my brother. I want to hear the discussion, then I'll do something at the end.
Okay. Okay. Now, I don't see any hands up. There we go.
Hi, thank you so much for this. This was a wonderful evening. I work in the humanitarian field, so I've never been to Sudan, but I hope to be someday. I had a question in the film, the part at the end with the beautiful images from Sudan of different people. Just curious about that and how you selected those. And the stories are wonderful, from flying on a pigeon to flying on a lion. So I thought, what a great movie. Thank you so much.
الفيلم هي أحلام حقيقية للشخصيات already بعد الحرب، يعني قعدنا مع الشخصيات فترة طويلة.
The movie is about the individuals in the film and their stories and what happened after the war.
اللحظات هي كانت لحظات حقيقية، في نفس الوقت نحن حبينا إنه نعمل الفيلم بطريقة يعني إبداعية كرياتيف، ويكون فيها ما تكون قصة إخبارية ولا قصة.
The moments were real moments, and we wanted to tell the story in a way that's not a news report, and we wanted to tell it in a creative way.
فبعد الحرب ما كان عندنا فتوت، ما كان عندنا أي تفاصيل نحكي بها حكاياتهم في الحرب، رغم إنه موضوع الحرب هو موضوع مهم شديد بالنسبة لنا نحن في السودان كلنا، فلازم كان يكون في طريقة مختلفة إنه نحكي بها حكاية الحرب وتكون بطريقة سينماتيك يعني.
After the war started, there wasn't any way to do the film in a conventional way and shoot it in Sudan, so we had to use all of the creative ways that we can use in different ways to actually tell the story.
Yeah, I think also we had this conversation with King's College, and they have a lot of footage about old Sudan and all that. So we wanted to use also some of that material to also portray like the 100 years, of Sudan. So the photos that you see at the end, this is like how we used to look like, before the colonialism and having clothes on us. And and also it's hard to like tell the history of Sudan, and it might take you away from the film. So we had to do it in a minimalistic way, just through photos. And a lot of people would know that, by those vintage photos, that it has to do with, the history of Sudan.
We're going ladies first.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you guys so much. This was such a beautiful, beautiful film. بجد يعني حاجة like مبالغة يعني بجد يعني I really, really appreciated being able to see it and being here with you guys today. I think I was wondering how were the individuals selected? So how was like, yeah, how are they selected? And I saw that each of you guys followed like Finn Wilson. Yeah, so how did you guys film with it, like follow them? Yeah.
Maybe we'll take another question as well.
My question was very similar to my friend Shams here. I think we think similarly. So I'll just end by saying that I'm really grateful to be here as well. You all did a very beautiful job. I would try and speak audibly right now, but I get a little embarrassed by how broken it is. So I really appreciate the diversity in selection of people that you followed as well. I think deciding to choose like children, low income Sudanese people, all the way to someone who actually worked within the government, I think did a very beautiful job of fully encompassing the diversity within our nation. And then the last thing I just wanted to say is one of the things that really stood out to me was that I maybe wasn't intentional was the woman outside who kind of reminded me that Sudan ultimately is a country forcibly made up of small kingdoms. We are divided now because of very limiting, I guess, labels for our identities. But the irony at the end of the day is that we're a bunch of tribes and a bunch of little nations that were forced together, and we're making the most of it. But yeah, my main question was just like Shams, how did you all select those 5 people?
طيب أنا في الفيلم القصة بتاعتي عن لوكين ويلسون. عشان أنا ألاقي لوكين ويلسون. طيب أول حاجة حتقول أنا فكرة يعني أنا كنت الصباح يعني بطلع الصباح بدري بلقى أطفال في الشارع بيكونوا صاحيين بدري برضو بيلموا القوارير من الشوارع فلفتوا انتباهي شديد الأطفال.
The story of how she met Lucaina Wilson, she went out to
حكيت القصة بدت أوكي
Let's tell the story. Come
on. صراحة حاولت أفتش عن الأطفال.
So you were saying earlier that you were looking around and trying to meet some children. You look at the street kids who work in the streets. That's how you started your film.
بس بعدها أنا صراحة لمدة شهور أنا بفتش عن أطفال يثقوا فيني إنه أنا يعني يوافقوا إنه إحنا عايزين نصور معاك.
So for months you were looking for kids who can trust you and work with you, those street kids, and that they can trust you and open up for you so you can make your filming with them, so you can film with them.
بس كانت رحلة صعبة شديد وما كان لاقي أطفال لحد ما أنس.
So it took a lot of time until Anis interfered somewhere. What did you do?
أنس عنده صاحبه عنده أولاد عمه بيشتغلوا نفس الشغل بتاع الأطفال ديل فهو عرفني عليهم.
Yeah, so Anis had some of his cousins also were some of these kids who were working in the streets. So he introduced you to them.
أيوة. بس المشكلة بقت إنهم ساكنين في حتة بعيدة من أنا ساكنة فيها. أنا ساكنة جنوب الخرطوم وهم ساكنين شمال الخرطوم في جبرونا.
So I lived in North Khartoum.
South.
You lived in South Khartoum, and they were living in the far north part of the city, the big city Khartoum.
فكان رحلتي إنه أنا كل نهاية أسبوع أنا كنت بمشي إليهم بقعد أتونس معاهم عشان يعني أكسب ثقتهم ويوافقوا إنه هم يصوروا معي الفيلم ده.
So I spent a lot of time with them and got to gain their trust and that they finally agreed to make the film with me.
فآخر حاجة الحمد لله هم وافقوا. أهلهم وافقوا إنه إحنا نصور.
The family also agreed.
وبدت المغامرة بتاعت الفيلم مع
And that's how our adventure in this film started.
والمغامرة دي لحد هسه مستمرة بيني وبين وانسون.
And this adventure is still continuing, I guess, because انتوا في كينيا هسه كلكم في كينيا.
كلنا في كينيا وانا بقيت الجاردن بتاعه يعني.
Oh, okay. I see you actually became
السودان في ثقافة بتاعت قعاد في محلات شاي وجنبات والقصص دي، السودانيين كلهم بيعرفوا الحاجة دي شديد.
Yes, in Sudan there is this tradition of sitting, enjoy yourselves in what we call jambat, which is like the street corners, I guess, where people sit down and enjoy times together.
رحلتي مع خدم الله بدأت أنا بقيت كزبون يعني معتاد في مكانها، بعد ذاك بدأت صداقة، بعد ذاك بقيت أشاهد الكفاح بتاعها كامرأة مستغلة وفي نفس الوقت كأم.
My journey with Khadmallah, the character in the film, started when I became like coming to her jamba.
regular customer.
You were a regular customer in her place where you got to know her as an independent woman who's working very hard.
في نفس الوقت هي شخصية برضه مطلعة وخريجة جامعية، وفي نفس الوقت مشاركة جزء من الحراك الثوري مع المقاومة.
She's also a university graduate, and she's also an activist in the Sudanese revolution, I guess.
وفي نفس الوقت نحن بنكون قاعدين بنكون شايفين ستات الشاي كيف الكشة بتيجي عليهم، كيف بيعانوا مع النظام الغمعي الفترة اللي فاتت دي والحاجات دي كلها.
At those times, we were also witnessing a lot of attacks on street tea sellers in the street, especially the women who were usually raided by police. So that's the time that
Yeah, hi again. My character is Jawad. I met Jawad in the second phase of the film in Kenya, and Jawad represents the youth of the Sudanese people. He is a mixture of a Rasta and a Sufi, and these two does not combine for who knows or who doesn't know. So yeah, Jawad, since the revolution, since the protests before and after the coup, he was the medic that is just running around for people, and he's still running around for people, and he runs a business. And lots of Sudanese refugees works with him, and he just creating hope for people in when he was in Sudan and when he is where he is now, and he's just creating hope and jobs and just lots of good things. That's why all of us love Jawad. Yeah.
Before the war, I had another character, and because Mikey was also one of the characters that was assigned to another director, but unfortunately the director dropped, and also we had to continue his story of Mikey. So Mikey had this kind of a representation of someone who's in the government that who's working with the government, but not necessarily with the government. So we wanted to portray those characters that are always wanting to say something, but because of their position, they can't, but they support you like from a distance, So as you see in the film, he was always like happy that the revolution is there, but he can't express it, in the office, because of, he's gonna get fired or something. And also, on the side, he has this passion for pigeon racing, which a lot of Sudanese people, I'm not sure about that, but a lot of Sudanese people don't know about this, pigeon racing, and it's unique, and it also represents this fun side of being a 9 to 5, in the office. You always have to have something, on the side. So we wanted to portray, both sides of him, working at the same time having, a side hustle.
السلام عليكم. شكرا لكم شديد, and I really thank you for the movie. It's beautiful and it's just a constant reminder of what everyday people go through in times of war. I understand that war could be very disruptive, and in case of your movie, I can imagine that it was very tough to at least get together with all of your characters after the war. يعني بعد الحرب تاني تتلموا يعني in making the film itself تكون في صعوبات شديدة. ممكن تتكلموا لنا شوية عن الصعوبات اللي حصلت لما الحرب قامت وكيف تاني قدرتوا تتواصلوا مع الكاركترز وتواصلوا في الفيلم والكرو والحاجات دي كلها. Thank you.
طيب بعد ما الحرب قامت احنا فقدنا التواصل مع بعض كلنا كمخرجين او كشركاء معنا في المشروع.
After the war started, we all kind of lost contact. All these big group lost contact, and we're not connected together for a while, I guess.
بس مع الشهور الاولى للحرب سنوبي قدر يوصل نيروبي وبعد ذاك قدر يتواصل معنا نحن مخرجين كلنا.
So after a few months, what's the name? Snoopy.
Yeah.
Snoopy moved to Kenya and he started getting together, I guess.
بعدها قدرنا نحن كمخرجين نتلاقى تلمينا كلنا في كينيا وعملنا زي ورك شوب قلنا هل حنواصل الفكرة دي ولا نوقف لحد هنا.
So we all kind of got to Kenya, to Nairobi, and we started. We made a group there and made a decision whether to. We were discussing making a decision whether to complete the film.
لأنه المشكلة الأساسية كانت إحنا ما كنا قادرين نتواصل مع باقي الشخصيات حقتنا.
So the main problem was that we lost contact with the main characters.
بس بعد ذاك بمحاولات ومجهودات يعني ممكن أنا أحكي الجانب بتاع قصة لوكين ويلسون لأنه أنا ما لميت فيهم وما كنا قادرين نلم فيهم نهائيا لأنهم ساكنين في حتة مسيطرين عليها الدعم السريع والدخول للحتة دي كان صعب شديد وأصلا ما كان في شبكة.
In the case of the two kids, they were really in a very difficult area where it was full of dance, RSF. So they were very hard to get connected to.
بعدها الحمد لله برضو أنس بقى زول قدر يدخل المنطقة دي.
So Alice also managed to get us to that area, and I guess you got connected with them there. So you got some connections, I guess.
فبس بعدها قدرنا نلاقي شفة وبقت المشكلة تاني في مشكلة إنه هم ما عندهم أوراق أصلاً فنحن حنطلعهم كيف.
Yeah, and we managed to get to the kids, but the other major problem was that they didn't have any papers to actually be able to travel.
فبس الحمد لله يعني في السودان قعدنا مسافة طويلة كده لحد ما قدرنا نوفر أوضاعهم قدرنا نطلع جوازات. أيوة.
So we spent a lot of time in Port Sudan, in the east of Sudan, and finally managed to get their papers sorted out with their family. And family كانت معهم? Okay.
معهم.
Well, that's a good question for you guys, by the way. I wanted to ask this question about the families of the kids, especially because obviously this is a documentary. We didn't see them in the film, but I wanted to, they were, one of the kids was sleeping in a bed and obviously filmed. That's the real location, right? So can you tell us a little bit about their family? Are they live with a mother or with who? And what happened to them?
اوكي لوكين وويلسون هم اصحاب في اي واحد. لوكين عنده ابوه ساكن مع ابوه وامه واخوانه.
So both of them or
ويلسون ساكن مع امه واخوانه.
Wilson lives with his mother and brothers.
اوكي لوكين مع امه مع اهله امه وابوه وويلسون مع اهله واخوان يعني.
Okay. And Loken lived with his mother and father and his brothers.
بعد الحرب لما جو طالعين لوكين طلع معاه أخوه الكبير وويلسون طلع معاه أمه لحد نيروبي.
After the war, Loken left Khartoum with his one brother, and other boy Wilson left with his mother.
ايوه. بعد ما نحن خلصنا التصوير كان لازم الأسرة كلها ترجع لأنه باقي الأسرة قاعد في الخرطوم لسه في جبرونا.
From Kenya?
يس.
Okay.
فالحصل إنه الأخ الكبير للوكين وأمه رجعوا لحد الخرطوم هناك. أما لوكين ويلسون فأنا طلبت من أهلهم إنهم يخلوهم معي لأنه لما حكوا لي هم في السودان كان بيعملوا شنو أثناء الحرب كانت حاجة سيئة جدا للأطفال. وكان وضع سيء للأطفال يعني إنه يرجعوا يعيشوا تاني نفس الحياة دي.
So the mother of Wilson, right? She decided to go back to Khartoum because she has the rest of her family there and other kids. So she decided to go. Rawia suggested that it seems like you suggested that the kids stay, Wilson stay, and not to go back to Khartoum because of the dangers that's happening there and the way you saw what was happening to them there in that previous life. Thank you.
Peace and blessings, everyone. Thank you. That was an absolutely wonderful, amazing film. It's one of the best movies I've seen, especially the creativity of it. I've never seen a movie like that with where you utilize the green screen and made it come alive. Like it came alive like something I've never seen before. So I wanted to say congratulations for making such a unique film and such a meaningful film. I took some notes. I had a couple questions. My first question was simple, but I do have a follow-up question that's more deep. What was going on? What was the spinning camel doing? Like, maybe I grew up in DC. I don't know. Not sure what it was doing. Can you tell me what it was doing? You know that the camel, they had a recurring scene. Oh, and the follow-up question would be, translation seems to be a difficult thing. So how are you pleased with the translations in the film? Do you feel as though it was accurate? I had a couple. Well, I'll just ask one question about translation. She said when the RSF soldier, the T, I forget the sister's name, but our sister who managed. Okay, Hakmala. Cardmala. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, she did it whatever they said as Blackie, and I just want to know what word was that. But what was the word that she used to say Blackie?
في السودان في مشكلة بتاعت identity. There is a problem of identity in Sudan also. في جدل بتاع هوية اللي هو عرب وأفارقة وزرقاء وعرب الجدلية دي يعني مستمرة في السودان. يمكن خواجاتنا بيستغربوا من الحاجة.
Okay, in Sudan, there is an issue that is can be described as a problem in Sudan, which is an identity problem, and where some people identify themselves as Arabs and others identify themselves as Africans, and he used the word which means blacks, and that my take on this, I just want to say that's mainly in the area of I'm translating, yeah.
في نفس الوقت الرمزية بتاعت الجمل إنه إحنا السودان منذ الاستعمار أو من قبل بعد الاستغلال في حلقة مفرغة اللي هي كل مرة تجي حكومة مدنية انقلاب ثورة تاني انتفاضة تاني انقلاب هكذا دائرة مستمرة.
Yeah. Since the independence, Sudan lived in a circle, a vicious circle of military coups to a short period of democracy to another military coup.
فبس عملنا الجمل ده كرمزيه للحلقه اللي لافه فيها السودان.
So the camel scene is kind of a symbolic dramatization of this idea of the vicious circle that keeps.
الجمل هو طبعا بيكسر دي عصاره بتاع الزيت اللي هي السمسم ولا الفول غالبا.
So the actual
دي آلية شعبيه
the camel actually is the actual structure that's there where you have the camel is an oil making machine. So the camel goes around to move the structure of the machine basically.
في نفس الوقت الكفاح بتاع الشعب السوداني، المعاناة، السوار في الشارع، الثورة، الكفاح بتاعهم من أجل الحياة في السودان، من أجل الحرية، من أجل الكرامة، من أجل السلام.
So the struggles of the Sudanese people for freedom, for and for democracy and so on, can in a way is reflected in this book for us.
Yeah, just adding a little bit of description of the camel. So it's basically like a traditional way of producing oil because of through sesame seeds and peanuts, and you can find it all around, Omdurman and somewhere in Khartoum.
And my last follow-up question would just be, thank you for those answers. My last follow-up question is a comment and more of a question. I thought it was beautiful how, with all of the ethnic tension and racial tension and things going on in Sudan, I thought it was beautiful, the collection of people and that everyone was acting out with each other. I thought it was super beautiful that people were the sons and the daughters, and you had the civil servant and his children were the street kids. I thought that was a powerful message. And was that, intentional? And then where were you when all five people were in the same place and making them act out? Where was that taking place? Thank you.
So that was in a studio in Kenya. So we rented the studio to use the green screen, and we were behind the camera, most of us. I was operating the camera, and it was also helping all of us. So we wanted to make sure that we're there for each other, and at the same time, because it was a very thin line between putting the characters back into that traumatic scene, what happened in Khartoum. So we had to make sure first to reenact, us directors as well, to reenact those scenes and to show them how it's done. And at the same time, when they're doing it, to be there for them in case anything happens. We jump in immediately, and as you see in the film, we immediately hug each other after that so that they can feel, relieved, and we're all in this safe space. And I guess that having each other in the scenes also represents, the unity and diversity.
Yeah, just getting back to the point of Blackie, I know you guys think that all of us are black, but in Sudan, there's blacker, and there's way more blacker. So even that's one of the issues that we're facing for the last decade. We accuse darker people that they're way darker, and we're Arabs and we're African, just for context. And for the other, as Nubi said, we lived together for a few months, all of us. We, the subjects, the participants, the directors, the producers, and we were more of a family than just a 9 to 9 production. And
Assalamu alaikum. Shukran للفيلم الجميل. Like it was one of the most beautiful representations of Sudan I've seen. I went from crying to laughing to crying again. I feel like it's a good representation of the heartbreak of being Sudanese, but the joy and the pride you have in our country and in our history. Touching, kind of building on his question, a common cause of a lot of pain in Sudan is the overemphasis on the Arab identity.
And it's caused us so much pain, but it's caused us a kind of losing part of major parts of our culture. So I kind of in a broader question, I want to ask you, how do you think we can preserve our culture in smaller communities within the diaspora? And inshallah, بعد Sudan يتصلح, how we can preserve that pride in the one Sudan, be our Africanness rather than the overemphasis on our Arab identity.
Whatever I say, it either destroys Sudan or unifies again. I guess that in the diaspora, we need to preserve our culture, and this is like what I do. Having discussions about what's happening in Sudan, because no one really seems to know a lot about Sudan. So you have to educate people about how we eat, how we dress, how we sing, the music, but also at the same time knowing what's your personal position in Sudan. And it's really a sensitive topic, and a lot of people don't like to talk about it. And whenever you bring that subject, people would feel like somehow insulted. So I'll just bring an example because I don't want to cause trouble. So one of the things that you see abroad is people who are in the diaspora and in countries like in America or Britain or these kind of European countries, they are lighter skin, right? And you have to ask your question, why am I this light skin? Why aren't they're darker skins in America? So this is one of the things that I noticed after war. And it's very, very painful to the fact that, it hurts me when I, even think about it. So basically, the darker you are, you're more in the camps, Kakuma camps, Ugandan camps, the darker you are. And the lighter you are, you're more in these, cool places in America, Europe. And it's not like you chose that, you were chosen to be in these countries. So you need to go back and know why this happened. And once you know that, you know why this Afro-Arab fight is always in Sudan. Like there was this kind of just like what's happening here, this gentrification. So it's like kicking, darker people, black skinned people to the edges, right? So it's the same in Sudan, putting darker skinned people in specific places, in specific positions. In the government, you don't see darker people, working in high positions. Look at Majdi, that's one example. And look at Khadmallah. She's educated and she's a graduate, but look at what she's, working. And the kids also, they are a product of this whole scheme. They don't even like Khartoum. They're not even from there. They were forced to be kicked out of, Nuba Mountains to Khartoum. And that's all just because of their skin color.
أعتقد إنه السينما هي مفروض تفتح تساؤلات وتفتح موضوعات، ومفروض كلنا نجاوب عليها. نحن تعلمنا من السينما كثير كمخرجين ومشاهدة أفلام ناقشت موضوعات عن الحرية عن السلام.
I think cinema should always open these difficult topics and discuss different things. And we as filmmakers
تعلمنا من السينما الأمريكية وغيرها كثير موضوعات عن الحرية عن العدالة عن السلام عن غيره، وأعتقد إنه في السودان عندنا قضايا كثيرة وموضوعات مفروض تطرح برضو للنقاش وكل المشاهدين يجاوبوا عليها يعني.
We learn from other filmmakers, Americans and others, that how film can tackle these issues, speak about freedom, speak about issues that needs discussing basically.
Yeah, also adding to the question of preserving culture, there's so many ways. You can make WhatsApp groups with all the people that in the same city our Sudanese, keep making mula khudra, guys. It's the best. Keep eating that. Burrasa, do that. Like this is, keep listening to Sudanese music, even if it was modern. Keep keep doing things. Like there's a stupid thing I do everywhere I live. I give the security a code. I tell them when I say give, he has to respond to mom. So and he's Kenyan. He doesn't know Arabic, but he can do that, and he can remind me of where am I from, even if I was far away from the people I live with, or far away from the people I used to survive with. So preserving the culture is a responsibility more than it's a privilege. You have to do it, or we will lose the culture, and that's not a thing we want to do. Thank you.
I have a question here. Get the microphone.
أول حاجة يعني the movie is like beautiful حرفيا أنا I didn't realize how much like homesick I was until I saw it. Well, it's not that just the characters يعني I mean my family is still in Sudan and then I kind of like see flashbacks of like everything, so thank you so much for making me just like relive these memories. بس السؤال اللي عندي is like why did you choose the name Khartoum? Because I mean I know they all live in Khartoum, but يعني I'm just thinking of like, you know, this idea how these people think, okay, Sudan, it's mainly Khartoum. Do you think this add to the idea of like, we're just centralizing Sudan, or like, I'm just curious, like why Khartoum? Yeah, thank you.
طيب الفيلم أول ما بدأ كان اسمه مقاطع من الخرطوم.
The film, when we started the film, it was called Scenes from Khartoum.
لأنه أصلا كانت الفكرة بتاعته هي عبارة عن 5 قصص من الخرطوم في مستويات اجتماعية مختلفة.
Because the main idea was to tell 5 stories from the city of Khartoum for people from different backgrounds or different social background.
دي كانت الفكرة الأساسية للفيلم. بعد كده بعد ما الحرب قامت والتغير الكبير اللي حصل في الخرطوم بقى نحن الحاجات اللي احنا صورناها عن مدينة الخرطوم بقت لنا كأنها يعني أرشيف للمدينة.
But after the war started and we had to leave, we discovered that the material that we filmed during that time became like an archive or a memory for the city.
فمن هنا يتغير الاسم بقى الاسم الخرطوم بس من غير أي حاجة ثانية إضافية.
Then that's from that moment we decided just to call it Khartoum. The name became just Khartoum, with nothing else added to it, not scenes of Khartoum, just Khartoum.
هي الخرطوم لأنها بعيون الأطفال الصغار الشغالين بيلقوا في القوارير، وبعيون خدم الله ست الشاي، وبعيون مجدي الموظف، وبعيون ال5 شخصيات اللي هم ساكنين الخرطوم رغم تناقضات أو جمال أو كل اللي فيها.
So yes, it's Khartoum through the eyes of those 2 kids and through Khatmalla's eyes and through Majdi's eyes. In a way, tells the story and the beauty of Khartoum. And its contradictions, yes.
Peace, how you doing? Can you hear me? My name is Gus. I'm a local filmmaker by way of Liberia. I have a question for director Snoopy.
Yeah.
I sat next to you while you was watching the film, and
Augustus, can you come up?
okay.
Filmmakers don't like to show themselves. They want to bring them up to the light.
Let's go. How you doing, bro? I sat next to you while the film played, and there was some parts that felt intense for you as you were sitting beside me where you couldn't hold your head up. To see certain parts where you had to embrace them, like you spoke of. What was going through your mind in those parts? As a filmmaker, watching your own film, what was going through your mind when there was some parts you couldn't even hold your head up to like really respond or resonate with it? I have a question about that.
This is all about the chakras. Man. You gotta
Yeah.
answer it on fire.
Now I was just taking a power nap. I don't want to lie, man. Because we've been, it was a long week and long day and everything. So sometimes then I wake up again. I could have gave you like this deep kind of, oh my God, no, I can't watch that. I'm just being honest. If I'm not honest, I'm not a filmmaker.
I'll take note of that. Thank you.
Okay, we'll take one more question because we have to wrap up now and give Mr. Haida Garima a chance to give us kind of end the night his input. Now we have one more question. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum. I really enjoyed the movie and it reminded me of a lot of things that I even lived. But I have a question about the music choice and how there is no diversity in the music choice. Like Khadmullah were dancing Karen, but she wasn't dancing to her own music group, So that's the question.
أنا لو فهمت السؤال إنه خدم الله رقصت في كيران وفي نفس الوقت مدي رقص طنبور والأطفال برضو رقصوا كيران والواد برضو رقص مزيكا
ممكن أسأل السؤال بالعربي؟ قصدي إنه ليه ما في تنوع في الموسيقى إنه كلهم رقصوا مثلا موسيقى بنقول عليها حقة العارضة دي لكن مثلا خادم الله من جبال النوبة كان بترقص كرنج لكن ما للموسيقى حقت الكرنج فاهمني؟ ليه ما في تنوع في الموسيقى؟
Zoha is asking why there wasn't a lot of diversity in the music, and she was giving an example that Khadmullah was dancing the kirang, but it wasn't using the music of the kirang.
هو طبعا زي ما ذكرت هي كيرانكس بترقص كيرانك واحدة من الثقافة بتاعت جبال النوبة لكن في نفس
dancing kirang because kirang is one of the cultures of the Nuba Mountains.
في نفس الموضوع انه الفيلم شايفين الجرين سكرين شايفين الحياة ظاهرة شايفين كل all the process in the screen.
Yeah, because the movie we see the green screen and we see the process of them dancing in front of the green screen.
لأنه ما في قروش البروديوسر كان مفلس شوية.
Because we were broke and we didn't have enough money.
وفي نفس الوقت الميوزك دايرة اللانسز دايرة تصديق دايرة حاجات فدي كلها حاجات مكلفة.
And the music needs the copyright and it needs to be cleared, so these are things that cost a lot of money.
هسه بالفرصة دي ممكن نشكر جيفانا واحد من البروديوسر نيتيف فويس هي برضه.
To mention Giovanna, she's one of the producers of the movie.
عاين قصة برضه جزء من واحد من البروديوسر برضه.
Iron Network and Gisla Productions are also part of the
Sudan Film Factory برضه واحد من البروديوسر بتاع الفيلم.
Sudan Film Factory was also producers in the film.
لأنه رحلة الفيلم كانت ما متوقع إنه نطلع لكينيا ونغير نعمل جرين سكرين والحاجات دي كلها.
Because when we started the film, we didn't expect for us to be displaced, and we didn't see the war coming, and we didn't expect to go to Nairobi and use the green screen and use these different techniques.
فيعني في حاجات ما كانت مخطط لها بقت وفي حاجات عملناها ما عارف إنها حتنجح ولا ما بتنجح لكن في النهاية إنها.
We tried a lot of different things. We didn't know if they would actually work or not, but in the end, we were happy with it. All right, thank you everyone. Let me give Haley, thank you for the directors. I'll just say one quick thing. We noticed that there were a lot of questions that need a lot more time to unpack. Things that have to do with identity, political, geographically, where's the rest of Sudan. We always like Sankofa because it's a place for all of us to come together, especially the African diaspora, along with the Africans from the continent, the Caribbean, the entire African, tapestry of people. So we would thank you to Batul and Husseina, and we want to keep this up because Sudan needs solidarity, Ethiopia needs solidarity, South Sudan needs solidarity, our whole neighborhood needs collective solidarity. So if you're in the area, in the DC area, keep following Sankofa, and look out for Sudan on Our Mind, and we'll take it from there. So thank you very much for coming out.
ممكن قبل ما نختم انه واحدة من الدوافع اللي خلتنا انه مثلا نواصل ونكمل الفيلم ده لانه ما في تغطية للسودان في الفترة بتاعت الحرب دي. شغل العمل الصحفي، العمل الاعلامي، في تقبيل شديد حاصل، ونجمع وصلنا القصة دي بطريقة مختلفة.
One of the reasons why they wanted to do the film is because the story of Sudan is not being told. It's not being disseminated, and they wanted a way to actually tell the story of Sudan and have people speak about Sudan, pay attention to what's going on in Sudan.
فشعرنا بالمسؤولية، وفي نفس الوقت بس الآن راوية هي الوصية للأطفال. فنحن عاملين زي اللي هي GoFund للأطفال باعتبار إنه لتعليم نضمن ضمان أقل تعليمهم لفترة بتاعت كم سنة قدام.
Yeah, because we feel as filmmakers, they feel a responsibility. And as an example, you know, Rawia is taking custody of the children. And we actually, if you go to the website, khartoummovie.com, there's a fundraiser for the kids, Lucaine and Wilson, to be able to go to school and to be able to have a brighter future.
شكرا لكم.
Thank you.
Excuse me. First, I just want to thank you, you young people, for blessing us.
Highlight, we
with this
can't hear
film.
you. You gotta hold the mic.
Okay, sister. For this film, for blessing us, for having the screening here, but also this unflinching strength in the film of the Africanity of Sudan is very, very important. Because to me, it's the new battle. It's connected to everything, to the civil war. The denial of Africa is the crux of the matter, and the fact you guys grabbed it by the serpent's head is very, very important to me. So thank you. And then I just want to say, this brother here, okay, you have to know, some of you just show up when you see your own ethnic movie showing. That's tribalism in America. You just go to see only yours. When it's Sudan movie, Ethiopians go when it's Ethiopian movie. So long as we remain like that, we will always be in this treadmill of oppressive historical process of violence, disregard for oneself, etc. Because it's connected. It's connected to me, and I'm very proud to see you guys. But it's him. I'm sure he worked his like hell to get you guys here. But he's always been in the Pan-African movement here. He's always been. We knew him even when we didn't know his name. So my brother, thank you for turning out. You guys. These two sisters here, Butul. I call her Butul to just make it sound more Ethiopian. Butul, Busena. These are two young sisters from Sudan, by way of America, who are in our film program here, who are studying to be filmmakers, but they're aspiring filmmakers. And I'm very proud of you, how you collaborated with my brother to make it happen. When this thing was thought up, for me, my wife and me worked like hell to create this liberated territory because we wanted Africa to be empowered, our story to not apologize, to just exist like any story in the world. And so you're in a place we call liberated territory. I wish my wife was here. She would have said it better formally without maybe sounding abusive. So I would say it's very important for most of you to realize, to me, the battle Africa and her descendants in the diaspora have is to empower her story, Africa's story. Our story is robbed. That's why we're confused. That's why we kill each other. That's why we are good at destroying our own identity. We scramble our face because Africa is the most hated object of the whole contradiction. So for me, it's the crux of the matter. And the film, this is where it grabbed me. Young filmmakers coming out and declaring without apology the issue of, to me, I come with the old filmmakers. I'm an aging filmmaker, although I'm still doing movies and I'll not stop. It used to hurt me when I go to the Pan-African Film Festival and my brother from Sudan would go with all the Arab meetings, Arab caucus, but not with the African Filmmakers Caucus. And some of the best filmmakers come out of West Africa, some Ben Usman, people like him, Med Hondo, Safi Fai. And this brother would, where we're in North Africa, either in Tunisia, in Morocco, any Pan-African Film Festival, our Sudan brother always went with the Arab caucus, North African Arabs. And I also want to respect, to me, Sudan has to deal with the issue of this issue of political. Yeah, the identity, but also the Arab issue, because with that, there's religion also involved, culture is also involved. And as far as I'm concerned, we can be Africans without being inhuman and fascist to the sentiments and feelings of people. But one thing we have to also admit is the fact that white supremacy is not the only problem we have. We have also Arab supremacy. So for me, that's a divisive thing. Now here, we try to make sure people understand, for example, the plight of Palestinians. We don't compromise on the Palestinian issue because they are our people that by the very history they're located in the spectrum of oppression. So here we always have Gaza on our mind is how we started. And then we have Haiti on our mind. Every Sudanese should be involved in this. Every African should be. Every Ethiopian should come to these events we do. And then we have Congo on our mind, the most plagued African section. Leopold King killed 8 million Africans, chopped their head, killed them. To this day, they're robbing them and making them kill each other. And we have now an African tyranny who's also doing damage there. We can't just live in America eating ice cream. As far as I'm concerned, wherever we are, we should assert our historical responsibility. Otherwise, we become like Frantz Fanon said, we're spectators of entertainment. So even oppression would be entertainment. In my view, I think we can do, I myself, I'm a coward. That's why I'm here, not in Ethiopia. But wherever I am, I would do within the context of my own capacity and struggle. So it's very important for people to participate. We would want you to come to the Gaza on our mind. We want you to come on the Haiti on our mind. We want you to come on Sudan on our mind, Congo on our mind. Participate. To me, Pan-Africanism is very important historical, at least activity. African Americans fought like hell for all of us to walk free now. Had we come at the wrong time, we would have been lynched here in Washington, D.C., or burned with chlorine. So to me, let's not forget who fought to create this space for us. For me, my wife and me did Sankofa. Black people empowered us all over the world, made that film a history beyond its, what it set out to do. This place is afforded because of them. And we're moving also a little bit, we're going to have a better theater so you don't have to suffer covering each other when you see subtitles from Africa. We're going to have a free access, a theater building next door for us to have this. So to me, you should support us, you should come, you should, in my view, propose ideas like my brother did. He just said, let's do it. I say, take it. And he did it. And so anybody who wants to do, issue-oriented, African-centered, issue-oriented, at this place, we will schedule you. And we will be supporting you in whatever resource we have here within our own context. In fact, they are you're the first group that we do. In fact, I think this brother kept saying he knows me in Luxor, Egypt. He's too young, or I don't know. But I used to do workshop in Luxor, Egypt for over 6 years, where we would train from 40 African countries, young people, send them to just go do whatever they have to do within their own callings. And I couldn't do it because of the political situations in Africa. I tried Mozambique, I tried South Africa. It's impossible. We're doing it here. We've done it in California, Germany, but this intensive program we're doing, they're in it. Now, for example, today is the only break. There's a whole upstairs, what we call film immersion, where we teach film as a language and the power for how to transport culture through that cinematic language. So we do intensive cinema classes here. And those of you who are interested in film should try to, I don't know, I'm not in it, how to get into it, but we'll be very happy to have you. And again, my brother, my sister, my brothers, my sister, thank you for your film. Keep at it, keep doing it. Even what's very interesting is you're not in Sudan. Wherever you are, you make a movie. That's important. That's also the message I have. I didn't want to wait till I go to Ethiopia, though I've done films in Ethiopia. I make films here and I don't apologize, nobody. I make statement about whatever I want to. In Kenya, the audacity, history deports you to Kenya, you make a movie. That's powerful. That's really powerful. Again, everybody, thank you for coming, seriously, but you should make it a frequent activity. As far as I'm concerned, I have the same problem. When we have Ethiopian events, Ethiopians. I think we should all get together and do it right. Thank you very much for coming.
Just like a fun fact, in 2017, I was selected in this Egyptian workshop, and Haile was my mentor. I have proof. And he mentors many thousands of people, so he forgot about me. But and I kept that message that he kept telling us, and just like what he just said, we always have to focus about our identity, never forget where we come from, and never be oppressed.
I'm gonna just do this quickly.
Awesome, you guys can.